Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's Christmas, or not, if you're a freaking terrible person and didn't upload this right. You piece of Okay. Anyway, it is Christmas time, and as a lot of you know, there are a lot of people that don't have family, live out of state, and can't talk to anyone, don't have friends, and in general, don't really have anyone to talk to in a holiday or on a day where everyone is supposed to be generally happy. Well, I'm gonna be miserable on Christmas anyway, so I might as well provide you guys with a decent bit of content. As is tradition, we are gonna be reading some creepypastas, and to do it with me, the only person who I could actually get to narrate with me at 1 in the fucking morning on Christmas Eve. Why don't you introduce yourself, Mr. Yeah Man, fuck you.
Oh, well, thank you there, TSR. Hi there, people out there.
TSR.
TSR, okay, that creepy reading.
TCR.
TCR.
You can't even do S's.
S. Hello, everyone.
You're a terrible person.
Hi.
You should feel bad.
I feel so bad, I need a tissue. Hi, everyone. This is Yeah Man. What up?
And he was, if you probably recognize him from the last video I did. Either way, I kind of feel like shit, and I really want to get back to you guys, because if it wasn't for you, I really wouldn't have anything here on YouTube. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy our marathon of not 1, not 2, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 creepypastas. We're going to be beginning with Sonic Alpha, followed by JCK1166Z, Silver Girl, Animal Crossing something, Slash Brothers, and then ending on Sonic Creepy Disc. I know it's not the best lineup, but fuck it, it's creepypastas. So please, sit back, relax, and try to laugh at my horrible jokes. This is Creepypastas. Sonic Alpha. This may sound like blasphemy to my hardcore gamer friends, but I've never been a big fan of the big classic games. I'm more of a fan of the obscure and the underrated and the unique games. Call me a hipster if you want, and I will. But I never really saw the appeal in the mainstream hits. Everybody already thinks they're great, so you don't have the same feeling of discovery playing, say, Mega Man, as getting a hold of a copy of XEXYZs. I have no idea what that is. As someone who aspires to be a game designer myself, don't you mean himself, because you're referring to yourself in the third person, yeah. So you wouldn't say myself, you'd say himself, but fuck it. Someday, I've also felt like taking inspiration from the same games as everyone else has no way of setting myself apart.
Blew my mind.
Fuck it, blew. It was because of this that I wasn't exactly excited when my friend called me up to rave about a local comic shop that also traded used games from time to time. And it had turned up a rare copy of a Japanese cartridge of Sonic the Hedgehog for the Mega Drive. Eventually, however, my friend, who I'll refer to as Sam, that's another thing that is kind of cliched as creepypastas. Why do you, I get it, you want to give your friend a name, but why do you have to refer to him as Sam, or refer to him as X, or refer to him as... If you tell someone on the internet their first name, no one's gonna fucking know who they are. No one. I mean, if I were to, let's say I call my friend, I'm like, okay, my friend Noah, who is a real friend of mine, none of you in the audience is gonna be like, oh my gosh, it must be Noah. He lives in Clarkston, Michigan. I better go spam the fuck out of a piece of... That's not how it fucking works. Oh my god. And it just serves to make your story a bit cliche. I used to like this in the past because it made it have character, but now it's just being overused.
No, sir.
I'll admit.
I don't like it.
Wait. Shut the fuck up. No one likes you. God, go back in your corner.
Nobody knows me.
Piece of shit. No one knows you.
Nobody.
And they'll never.
Never.
No one will ever know you. Just stop it.
It's okay.
Stop making videos. God.
It's okay.
I'll admit, I wasn't expecting much. I planned to go down. Confirm. What? I wasn't expecting much, period. I planned to go down, comma, confirm that yes, comma, it was indeed Sonic game, comma. Fuck it. Whatever. I'll admit I wasn't expecting much. I planned to go down, confirm that yes, it was Sonic game. Tell Sam I wasn't interested, and make her take me out for lunch, because that's how shitty of a person I am. That was a good plan, and one I probably should have stuck with. Instead, I found myself handing over $15 to the disinterested man behind the counter for the game. You're fucking working at a comic shop and you're disinterested. What the fuck's wrong with you?
There's probably no tax on it either.
It was a dinged up old cartridge with nothing but a fairly plain white label affixed to it, bearing some printed Japanese text. It was because of the text I decided to buy.
Eye candy.
What?
Probably didn't even know what it was saying at first. Plus $15 for this kind of cartridge sounds a little high.
Man! I mean, like, I could just picture him. He's like, man, fuck Sonic.
Like,
oh, wait a minute. Japanese text?
Man.
Oh my god, this will go on my crusty anime pillow.
Holy cow, look at the angles.
Look, oh my god. Oh, I can put this on my anime pillow. Oh my god, fucking Ryuko. What the hell? Why would that make you want to buy? I mean, should GameStop start doing this? Like, just replace the covers of all the games in Japanese text, like Mass Effect 3, and it's just a white picture of, like, the word anus in Japanese, but you fucking won't know it. And $15 because there's some Japanese text on it. What the fuck is wrong with you?
I would totally be sold as long as there's no tax.
I mean, maybe $2 if it was a interesting piece, but $15 because white on red text? What? It was a dinged up old cartridge with nothing but fairly plain white label affixed to it, bearing printed Japanese text. It was because of that text that I decided to be a retard. Sam had been studying Japanese for the past couple of years and was planning on taking a trip there because of such a weeaboo faggot he was. I don't have anything against gay people, but these people are stupid. So, they are stupid. And swore that the label identified this game as a prototype build of the original Sonic. I don't know much about video games, yeah man, but I'm pretty sure that most of the prototype builds of these games were not put on cartridges.
I agree.
I mean, weren't they like just made onto computer and saved onto computer?
As prototypes, most definitely.
Like, I mean, that's like me saying every time I saved a Sony Vegas video project, I also put it on a VHS tape and then put Japanese text on it and then sell it. I got $15 for some fucking idiot. Oh my god. This was just kind of stupid. And wait a minute, if this person knew how to read Japanese, why would he not buy it himself? I mean, am I kind of confused? I'm kind of confused here. Was the person like, hey man, there's a original prototype of Sonic in that store. I'm not gonna buy it, so you should. Like, what the fuck? This story does not make sense, and we're barely a couple paragraphs in.
Who knows? Maybe he's treating it like, you know, going in the store and buying a blow-up doll or something. Just send your buddy in there to do the dirty work. Maybe something.
You know, where your friend just walks up to the front desk and he's like, I would like to buy a dildo. And then the guy looks at him
it's
like,
for my friend.
What? And he's like,
yeah,
it is
sure.
for my friend.
Sure.
And then he's like, sure, just clean it off before you return it.
That's used. Discount $15. No tax.
Discount, it's only $15. There's white Japanese text on it.
Don't you like it? It bubbles out on the plastic a little bit, adding more sensual flavor.
And then he's just sitting there like, fucking, he's like, oh my god, yes. Been drowned. The blow-up doll.
Oh. And he's doing exactly the same thing for the video game.
Yeah, this story is kind of fucking stupid. If you think that was enough, if you think that was enough to get me to buy it on the spot, you would be mistaken. There was actually a lot of talking it over between us before I agreed to make the purchase. So, not only did you... What?
Look, man, I gotta make sure you legit about going in here and buying this game, alright? I'm gonna stand out here and wait, so, let's negotiate this for about 15 minutes.
Alright, you need to understand, man, alright? I need you to go in and buy this game for me.
Yeah, don't postpone and get caught up on all them anime posters over there. Yes, those anime boobs are wonderful, but the game is the objective. Remember the one with the Japanese writing.
The Japanese text, man. So the story just contradicted itself. I only bought it because it had white and red Japanese text. Also, I also talked to my friend because he was like, you should totally buy this shit, and I bought it because he told me to. So you're saying that if it didn't have Japanese text, you would have just said, fuck it, I'm not buying it. Fuck you, Sonic, you fucking blue little bitch.
Little furball.
Sam's moves weren't entirely altruistic, as she was a unbiased Sonic fan that I was not. But due to my interest in unusual titles, I had a console that could play Japanese-only cartridges, because I'm a little bitch. Well, she did not. So in the end, I negotiated a date out of her.
Negotiating a date. Always a strategic plan before execution.
What the fuck? Are you Donald Trump?
Let's strategically...
I mean, he just fucking sitting there in a car, and he's like, so if I give you a small loan of $1 million to buy you this game with white Japanese text on it, you'll go on a date with me? And then the girl's like, fucking, I don't know. God, bitch. He's like, you're fired.
My daddy will pick you up at 7, baby.
Oh my god. My mommy will pick you up at 8. I'm not allowed to be past bedtime.
Maybe get a little hand action. And I mean holding. Get your minds out of the gutter.
Oh man, I can't wait for you to hold my hand. Man, I'm glad I bought you that game. It's so hot.
The way her sweaty hand clutches mine. Real clammy like.
Well, she did not. So in the end, I negotiated a date out of her. A Métis feature and a Japanese buffet. That is pointless information, sir.
That buffet.
So, I mean, split 60-40 in my favor. Split 60-40 in my favor for her buying me and giving me a shot before she came over and play it after a date. So basically what you're saying is that you can't get a date normally, so you have to bribe people to do it.
If it works, it works.
Kind of a piece of shit.
If it works, it works. He's got some strategic plan here. Let the man execute it.
like Suave Tim next door, just like, hey, you want to go out on a date, baby? And she's like, yeah, but you have to buy me Sonic. And then he's like, I'm gonna go ask Jessica.
Oh yeah.
I'll admit, the chance to see the successful idea. I'll admit, the chance to see what ideas a successful team tried before hitting their winning formula did have my interest, but I never would have played it without the promise of a date with Sam to motivate me, and that white Japanese text. We'd always been just friends, but not from a lack of me trying on my part. She's teasingly teased me in the past that it was mostly what she called my weird game snobbage. So you're saying that the reason why you can't get a girl is because you're a fucking video game hipster?
Man, look, it takes a lot of time to play a game, okay?
I mean, I could just imagine it, like, she's going like, hey, you want to go out for a movie? And you're just like, fuck no, I'm playing Fag Man for the NES, you piece of shit. Want to go on a date later? And she's like, no. Kind of shitty.
Yeah.
That my undue love... Oh, my God. That and my undue love of tentacle foods. So I made note to avoid octopus on our date.
Oh, yeah.
However, for the weekend, I gamed. The cartridge was too dirty to play at first. A thick layer of grunge had built up on the inside. Most likely it was human, hyper-realistic blood. And I had to carefully clean out the contacts before it would actually work. Once I started it up, it was working fairly normally. Though, well, not a Sonic fan myself. I was... Sorry, I fuck it up here.
That's all good.
While not a Sonic fan myself, I was Sam's friend, so I had played the games, and I basically knew what I was in for, or so I thought. As expected for a development version of the game, it wasn't as polished as it was not as polished as the finished product. The menus and the HUD elements weren't present at all, with Japanese text filling in black boxes. Interestingly enough, though, the timer was entirely absent. Although the titular hedgehog was a bit faster than I remembered him, there didn't seem to be anything pressing that needed me to reach the goal, a factor in which I actually welcomed. They gave me a chance to explore. Yes, the shitty 2-bit game.
Exploring that side scroll, baby.
I mean, like, I get it.
Gotta look and see what's behind that bush, man. You might have one of them little, one-ups back there. Can't miss those, man.
You can't miss it at all. There were other differences as well. For instance, Sonic had a lighter color palette, and no matter how many rings you collected, there were no bonus stages. In addition, it was possible to strike certain stage objects, such as the palm trees, to drop coconuts and rocks and other objects, which Sonic could pick up and use as a projectile. Though he was unable to roll when holding one. These could have been used to take out enemies at a distance. It was a useful thing to have, since many of the enemies were not fully animated, and hit detection was spottier than the finished game. Though, this actually brings me to another difference, one in which I didn't realize right away. Defeating enemies did not give away any points. The robots would be destroyed, gave off an explosion effect, and would disappear. That was it. The little animals didn't jump out, and your score didn't increase, though occasionally an enemy would drop a few rings, like a little bitch.
Dropping those rings.
Instead, to increase your score, you had to destroy machines scattered throughout the level. I think they replaced the item monitors from the final game. Finding them was quite a challenge, as the steps were much larger and were more hazardous in the following game. Oh my god, this is fucking nothing but explaining these stupid details.
Look,
something you guys should know is that when you're making a creepypasta and you include things that are just stupid, like this whole thing could have been summarized in a paragraph. Instead, I'm like 2 paragraphs in reading this shit, just saying things were changed about the game. Hit detection was off if the game wasn't fully animated, and on top of that, there were projectiles I could get by hitting palm trees. There, paragraph done. Boop. But no, I'm 2 paragraphs, and all I've read about is, oh my god, there's too much information, man.
Can't leave out the detail, man.
Shut your
Not even the little
mouth.
things. It's the little things.
You're a piece of shit.
It's the little things.
Bahamut to you.
No,
Bahamut to you.
Bahumbug.
No, it's Bahamut.
Bahamut.
We are creepypasta narrators and we worship demons, so it's Bahamut to you.
I thought Bahamut was from Final Fantasy.
I don't give a shit.
We worship the dragon.
We worship Asians. Okay, so I'm gonna skip a little bit because basically this guy goes on a rambling piece of shit where he's like zones and development and atmosphere and oh my god. First there was a forest which began green and blue. With each act, the set would change just a little bit. In Act 2, there was more gray in the background. There's more gray in the backdrop, and some of the trees were only trunks. The water had changed from a blue to a grayish green. There were also more spikes in the second act, and the underground areas had an industrial feel with crushing plates, flame jets. Crushing plates, flame jets? Wow.
Yeah.
By the final act, some of those industrial features were out in the open. The backdrop looked a little more purple than blue and washed out and it had a washed out pastel? All right, fuck it. It had a washed out pastel that faded to gray. I love my pastel.
Maybe he was.
It reminded.
Go ahead.
What are you saying?
I was like, maybe he was meaning a pastel color was fading into gray.
No, it's pastel. Pastel. Fuck you.
Pastel.
Yeah, I think they mean washed out color palette. You know, which would make sense.
Yeah.
But when you're saying washed out pastel or pastel, that doesn't mean anything.
Nothing at all.
What are you using? Fucking faded crayons?
All day, every day.
It reminded me of the sky one time when I'd been to Los Angeles on a family trip years ago. Many of the trees looked burned. Wait, what? You've been to Los Angeles and the trees were just fucking burned?
Wonder if that was in the old downtown part.
Maybe. I mean, I'm just picturing, you know, what it looks like. Have you ever seen Futurama? Where Fry goes to Los Angeles and it's like fucking Waterworld and everyone's like, I don't know if you've seen the one where he, oh my god, it was fucking hilarious.
No, I haven't seen it.
You're a piece of shit. Go watch it now. We will wait for you. We won't wait for him.
We can Netflix and chill afterwards and watch it.
Netflix and chill.
Yeah.
It reminded me of the sky of the time I've been to Los Angeles on a family trip years ago. Many of the trees looked burned and the water was almost black. Where the fuck have you been? Oh my god. As I reached a bust area, the grass transitioned to darker colors as well. I couldn't help but get the impression that I was leaving the forest and entering a paved lot. This is where I encountered the biggest change.
The biggest of all changes.
Yeah. It was
I'm interested.
magical. Oh my god, there is so much story left. Instead of Robotnik's air car, as I was expecting, the enemy had came out of a large robotic bear, riding on one of the giant crushing balls. The fight was actually quite clever. The bear bot would try to run Sonic down on the ball. What?
Must be a circus bear, bruh.
Alright, let's reread this. Instead of Robotnik's air car that I was expecting, the enemy that came out was a giant large robotic bear riding on a giant crushing balls. Okay, that doesn't make any sense. Riding on one of the giant crushing balls. That's implying
Fucking came in like a wrecking ball.
He came in like a wrecking ball, writing this shitty story. But here's the thing that bothers me. You said there's one ball, so you could have said crushing ball. But your crushing balls implies two. I don't know anymore. Maybe I'm nitpicking. I probably am. But damn it, fuck
typos,
it.
Man.
The fight was actually quite clever. The bear bot would try to run Sonic down on the testicle. Sonic had to avoid being testicled.
Does it really say that?
No, it's a ball. I just turned the word ball to... And staggered a bear so that they fell off, at which point he could turn the tables, riding the enormous ball, using it to score a hit. After the first hit, the bear would sometimes jump up and down on the ball, crushing rocks that would hurt Sonic if they hit him, but could be thrown back at the bear if he didn't run over the first. After the second hit, he would occasionally hop off and kick the ball at Sonic before leaping back onto it. Although the animation was choppy, it had very impressive AI, and it took some time to beat. It was obvious that some programmer had put a lot of effort into the boss, and it was a shame that it had been cut. When I finally beat the boss, it bellowed out fire, then blinked out, along with the ball. I can only assume that the dev animation wasn't. Oh my fucking god, this is just boring. Alright, let's do some skimming. I finally beat the boss. The animation wasn't finished. Where the bear bot stood, there was a character that looked like Sonic laying on the ground. They were completely differently colored, and certainly was not a hedgehog. But it seemed pretty obvious that this was meant to be Sonic's woodland friends. There followed a brief scene where Sonic kneeled down by the other character, and their mouth moved as though they were talking. Sonic stood and seemed to nod in agreement, whether or not to whatever they fucking told him. And they walked. Wait, what? What is this?
Man, they're getting deep, man.
The next level was like a factory. Okay. Okay, so basically the next level is like a factory. Enemies look like a factory stage. Fuck it. I admit my disinterest was probably due to the fact that this game was fucking stupid and you should have not have wrote this. I admit my disinterest was probably due to the frustrating zones to progress. However, I did at last reach the boss, a robotic I just want to shoot myself. Like, this is stupid. This is genuinely stupid. It's not like it's terribly written. I mean, it's alright, I guess. Spelling errors here and there, but I mean, this is just shit.
It's just meant to be a long, drawn-out story, it sounds like. They're giving you the whole walkthrough of an imaginary game.
I wrote a shit ton of stories, now praise me.
I would like to see the gameplay of this 15 minutes. I've played some of these Sonic EXEs, and it seems like they just... You scroll one way, you have no choice but to get chased by one of your friends who are now possessed, and 5 minutes into it, you've beat the game.
Shut the fuck up about Sally.exe, you piece of shit.
It's the best game ever, man.
Alright, so I'm just kind of going to skip ahead here. Basically, there was a robotic salamander. It shot shit at him, sticky tongue, not as polished as the bear. You get the fucking issue. And then basically there was a character that appeared right after the fucking salamander bullshit, and it was a crocodile. I at least assumed it was a crocodile, recalling how Sam mentioned how the voice for a character named Vector was in the game's code.
No shit.
Wait, what? How do you know this?
Vector? Ain't that a Sega game itself?
Maybe. I mean, no. I think it's a giant, like, rapping crocodile from Sonic.
Not from Donkey Kong? Because if Donkey Kong pops out in this, man, I'm going to be just that more blown away.
I'll puke all my spaghetti.
Oh, man. I want to see this.
Once again, Sonic listened to the character speak, and then being a passive little bitch, he nodded and moved on. Oh, we're on the last stage, guys. Let's praise Allah, I guess. The last stage was an advanced lab of some sort with lots of computers, and I'm totally disinterested. Okay. Let's skip ahead because all he does is explain the background and unfinished graphics. Fuck. Up to this point, I had assumed they simply did not have an idea of all of robots being powered by animals until later in development, but minimally Minimally animated displays in the background proved me wrong. They showed crude schematics of various enemies, including animals that were at the core of each. Even though I told myself this was just due to unfinished graphics, that the animals weren't shown escaping, when you defeated an enemy, I have to admit, it did make me feel uncomfortable because you're a hipster little bitch. One other element stood out in the zone. Starting the third act, Robotnik himself appeared riding his little air car. Like in one of the levels I had watched Sam play, he constantly ran from Sonic. He was not always on screen and would sometimes release a hazardous slow. He would constantly release hazardous to slow my pursuit. Whereas in the game I had seen Sam play in the past, Robotnik seemed to always be taunting Sonic in his first appearance in the prototype. I actually felt his presence had a lot more impact, and I felt... oh my god, he is quite literally talking about wanting to catch him. An odd enemy spawning caught my eye a few times, but I soon worked out a trick of it to match my surprise. The game had an ending. First it flashes, explosions covered the screen, serving as transition. A mournful tune played. The first real music I had come across in a cartridge. I didn't recognize it, but I genuinely guessed something public domain in Japan, possibly a traditional folk song. No, most Japanese people don't give a shit about copyright. You fucked up. You know, back in the 1980s, Japanese people didn't really have any real copyright laws. That's why people in Japan would oftentimes name their characters after rock groups. Even, you know, that's why in Mega Man, they actually named a lot of the robots after, people like from Guns N' Roses and shit. Honestly, copyright wasn't an issue in Japan. They would honestly use whatever they want. They would remix whatever they want. And not to mention, you would have to make the thing a chiptune, meaning you would have to put actual effort into converting a traditional folk song.
Wow. You learn something new every day.
So basically what this guy is saying, fuck it, you don't know about it, I don't know about it, so I'll just make shit up. Wow. Sonic stood alone on the cliff. The landscape around him was scorched, much like the later parts of the first time zone, with broken balls from the second and third thrown in, with some fire. And even some unfinished, adding the silhouettes, the factory fortress, and the sunset colorful... Jesus fuck! Just shut the fuck up and get to the point!
Man, you gotta build up the suspense, dude.
It was only... no, there's no suspense. The guy is just constantly explaining stupid shit.
Look, I've been hooked and addicted since the little freaking Japanese writing, dude. I am totally
he might as well basically say, and then my butt itched, so I went down and slowly itched it with my hand, hoping Sam would recognize me. I then took my finger, smelt it, and then realized it smelt kinda like shit. So that's when I slowly put on my pocket, paused the game, and went to the bathroom. The water was kinda cold. However, by turning the knob, I slowly made it more warmer. You see how boring and stupid that is?
What was this? Is this in the story?
No, I'm just making a point here. The story just constantly fucking explaining stupid shit that doesn't need to be explained. It was only as I sat there thinking about the final score that I understood Sonic hadn't been getting advice on where to go next from the other characters as I assumed, but had been hearing their final words, and then holding a moment's silence in their memory. They had been the cores of the bosses. So basically they died. And by the way, this story ends with the best bit of news that makes the story a 10 out of 10. He never went out on that date.
Oh, yeah. I wonder if she took the money and ran. Did she give up whatever?
She took the game and had some fun at home.
She's like, yeah, got him. Got him.
Got the game. Fuck
got him.
All right, let's move on to the next story.